Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. What is up? What is going on? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you. You know what to do, like button, whoop, whoop, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. And I am back for a second and final stream probably for the night. As the title says, I wanted to give my thoughts on PlayStation VR 2, which we know is coming at some point. Some news, I guess if that's what you want to call it, news, rumor, whatever, came up a couple of days ago. So I meant to do this a couple of days ago, but I just didn't get a chance because I was just too exhausted from the 10-hour shifts that I've been working for the last 2 weeks. Ah, that's good. Whew. I love those sparkling nights. Excuse me. Make sure I got sound. Okay, Support Gaming, what is up? What's going on with you? So, again, this is another situation where some rumor, report, whatever you want to call it, came out a couple of days ago. I don't feel like doing the legwork. I know Craig, the tech guy, made a post about it on Twitter earlier this week. Foxy Games UK did a video covering it because I think his video pretty much said that his source had already told him that a while ago. So I guess some outlet or something was reporting about the rumored features and specs of the PlayStation VR, when we can expect it to come out, price and everything, all that good stuff. So I just wanted to go over, I'm just going off the top of my head and talk about what they were saying, this outlet, whoever, about the rumors, what they were talking about, and give my thoughts on it. Excuse me. So this outlet reported that the PlayStation VR 2, which we know, which I think I already said that, which we know is coming at some point. It is supposed to have a reported resolution of 1440p. I definitely believe that to be true because not only do I believe that to be true, they almost have to do it. Arian Drake, what is up? Because all the headsets that are coming out this year, a number of headsets are coming out this year. They have at least a minimum resolution of 1440. That's minimum. Excuse me. The Oculus Rift S, Thomas Hand, what's up? The Oculus Rift S that I have has a resolution of 1440. The Oculus Quest has a resolution of 1600. The Valve Index, I believe, has a resolution of 1600. Samsung Odyssey, I believe, has a resolution of 1600. I believe the HP Reverb has a resolution of 2160. But, there's a couple of more headsets off the top of my head. But the bottom line is, like, in 2019, headsets that have coming out in 2019 and beyond, 1440 is the minimum. What's up, Darren? Resolution of 1440 is the minimum. So PlayStation VR 2, at the very least, has got to have a resolution of 1440 if it's, just so it could be in the mix with the rest of the headsets. So that part, that rumor, I believe to be true. The rumor is saying that PlayStation VR is supposed to run at a refresh rate of 120 hertz. I believe that to be true because I guess like rumor came out before in the past that I guess Sony has some kind of technique where they take 60 hertz somehow and double it. You know, almost sounds like some rapid pack math shit, where they double the 60 hertz and turn it into 120 hertz. So if that is to be true, I do believe that I do believe that's very, very well possible. PSVR 2 could have a refresh rate of 120 hertz. I believe at the minimum, it will have a refresh rate of 90 hertz at the minimum. God, got something caught in my throat. Got some chicken caught in there. Hold on, folks. Excuse me. PSVR run already runs at 90 and 120 hertz, which I did believe that, Kevin, but I couldn't say for certain, so I didn't want to go out there and put any misinformation out there. But yes, I did believe that. I have heard it in the past, but it kind of, fizzled out, whatever. And again, I didn't want to spread misinformation, so the other rumor that they talked about was a kind of a no-brainer that the PSVR 2 would be wireless, and I mean that one right there is kind of a no-brainer. A lot of us have already seen the patent that Sony filed that suggested that the next PSVR headset is going to be wireless. Excuse me. Not only did we see a patent suggesting that the PSVR 2 would be wireless, we also saw a drawing for a patent that suggested that the PSVR 2, or rather that the PS5, would have the ability to connect two PSVR headsets simultaneously to that console, so two people can play locally in the same living room. So that's kind of a no-brainer that PSVR 2 was going to be wireless. It was in the first time I heard that it might be wireless, it was something that I was not exactly crazy about, because I felt like a cord was still the fastest connection. I still believe that, but because I'm really getting sick of these cords coiling up on me, my PlayStation VR as well as my Oculus Rift CV1, those cords have twisted on me pretty bad, and it's like every time I get ready to use it, I have to put one foot on the cord and then pull it with one arm to get those twists out of it. As far as that goes, my Oculus Rift S was already coiled inside the box like a snake, so that hasn't straightened out either. So I only expect that to get twists and knots and stuff like that in it as time goes on. So I'm starting to warm up to the idea of a wireless headset, because if anybody can pull that off, a headset that's tethered to a console, that's wireless and still be able to function with minimal latency, if anybody can pull that off, Sony can. So I'm starting to slowly warm up to the idea of a wireless headset. Thomas Hand, cords don't bother me. What does bother me is over time, these cords start to coil and twist and knot. And it's like every time you get ready to play it, you have to pull on these cords to get the twist out of it. And depending on how you move around when you're playing, these cords will twist right back up. So that's a little bit annoying. So more and more I'm starting to warm up to the idea of a wireless headset. So now, wow, I'm already through this and I've only been on 10 minutes, because this is definitely going to be a very short podcast. Now, here's the one. Let me see. Let's see if there was any other rumors they talked about. Oh, the eye tracking. They said that it would have eye tracking. I do believe that. I guess currently the Vive Pro, I guess, is currently the only VR headset out on the market right now that has eye tracking. But I guess that's only in certain situations. It's not necessarily in game situations. So again, if anybody can pull off this eye tracking and make it work and keep the price of the headset affordable, because I guess eye tracking is a very expensive technology right now. If anybody can pull it off and keep the price affordable, Sony can. So I do believe that the eye tracking, I do believe that that's a possibility that could be in the PSVR 2. My only reservations about that is that I'm wondering if this eye tracking technology is going to be able to keep up with the human eye, because I believe the eye is the fastest part of the human body in terms of movement. I don't think any part of your body moves faster than the human body. I don't think anything moves faster than the eye. This part of the human body. So, and I think the thing about this rumored eye tracking on the PlayStation VR is that wherever you look at, the resolution will be the best wherever you look at. So I guess it's somewhat going to have somewhat of a dynamic resolution wherever you look. So the thing that I have reservations about is if I look to the right and then look back to the left really quick, when you look back to the left, are you going to see a blurry background until the eye tracking catches up with your pupil? So, yeah, so I have some reservations about that. We'll have to see how it goes. But again, if anybody can pull this off and make it work, Sony can. And then I think I'm just thinking off a lot out of this stuff off the top of my head. Let me see. I think this rumor also outlet, whoever reported this shit, said that PSVR 2 would release in 2020 alongside the PS5. Which, if they did that, I would be ecstatic if they did that. I'm under the impression that the console is going to come out in 2020, and then the PSVR headset 2 is going to come out in 2021. Because I guess there was some rumor coming out that Sony didn't want to hit everybody at once, dropping the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation VR 2 at the same time. Because depending on how they price this shit, you could be looking at anywhere. You could easily be looking at around $1,000 easily for both units. So, again, if the console comes out in 2020 and launches right alongside the console, I would be ecstatic. And I will order both of them. I will pre-order both of them. I will have them both day one. And I think the last part of the rumors was the price. And this outlet, whoever reported this shit, is reporting that they're guessing that the PlayStation VR 2 will cost $250. That's the part I have a hard time believing. All the technology that they're probably going to put into the PlayStation VR, the eye tracking, cameras, I guess there's going to be, I think we've seen patents and drawings for it, that the headset would have the ability to detect when a person is getting motion sick. We know there's a pretty good guess there's going to be some new controllers. I think we've seen controllers. Yeah, I doubt that too, Thomas Hand. But we've seen patents for controllers that would be pressure sensitive. I think we've seen patents for like some wrist bracelets or some shit like that has cameras in them. So we know that the Move controllers are going to be done. So there's going to, There's going to be some totally new cameras, totally new technology, research and development costs. So we're talking about cameras probably within the headset, wireless, eye tracking, new controllers for $350. I mean, $250. I saw that E350. $250. I find that hard to believe, but I will say that I do not think that the next iteration of the PlayStation VR will cost $500 again, because Sony is, I think, even though they say the PS5 is for the hardcore, I think Sony is aiming for a broader audience with PlayStation VR 2. Now, they're going to start, they're going to do like they did with the PlayStation 4 and build a foundation with the hardcore VR people. You know the saying, if you build it, they will come. Sony didn't just draw in these casual gamers overnight. It started with us, the hardcore gamers, and it built from there. Christopher Hart said 350 would be perfect in support gaming. I can't see a $250 price. I would expect a retail between $350 and $450. I thought myself, I thought Sony might price it at $400. Sony doesn't seem to do that $50 shit, $150, $250, whatever, unless something's on sale. Their retail price is usually $100, $200, $300, whatever. It ends in zeros. So I expect PlayStation VR 2 to be $300 or $400, no $350. I think 300 would be a sweet spot, but I'd imagine that, selling it at $300, they would probably be taking a loss per headset sold. But I believe they would sell more headsets at $300 than they would at $400. If they want to get the PlayStation VR 2 off to a better launch than the current PSVR had, it can't be $500. It probably can't be $400. $300, I think, would be the sweet spot. So Sony's got a little bit of Nintendo in them. I think because Nintendo's some greedy motherfuckers. Fatal Charade, what's going on? I think Microsoft might be the greediest. They might be the greediest company on the planet. Them and Comcast. They're probably two of the greediest companies on the planet. But Nintendo is greedy in their own way. I think Nintendo is greedy in the sense that they do not drop the price of their consoles. I mean, the Wii U struggled, and they didn't drop the price of the Wii U for God knows how long. The Nintendo Switch is still $300. And I think Sick Humor was right when he said that Nintendo came out with the Switch Lite so they wouldn't have to drop the price of the Nintendo Switch, so they can keep it at $300. With that being said, I think Sony's right there in the middle. They're not cheap, but they're not the most expensive. And when Sony's shit is selling like hotcakes, they won't bend for a while on the price either. Because PS4 was stuck on I don't know. Well, I guess I have to take that back. I was going to say the price of the PS4 was stuck on $400 for a good while, but I have to take that back because when the PS4 Pro came out for $400, the standard PS4 was down to $300. So, and Thomas Hand, you said I don't think we'll see PS5 at under E450 and add PSVR 2 at E350. I don't know over in Europe with euros and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they do like 350, 300, that kind of stuff. But over here in North America, it's going to be the price is going to end in zeros. I think the PS5 will cost 400. Probably not 400. I think it's going to cost $500, but there's still that possibility that it could be 400. But I think it's going to be I think the PS5 is going to be 500 because I think one of the biggest reasons why they won't have to knock the price down to 400 is because Microsoft isn't trying to compete with them. Microsoft is going in a totally different direction. Scarlet, to me, Microsoft is coming out with Scarlet not to try to compete with Sony, in my opinion. I think it's just something to give to their hardcore fans just so they can say we didn't leave you guys behind. So with that being said, Microsoft knows that Scarlet's is probably going to get off to a terrible launch. And it will probably, in terms of sales, depending on how Microsoft prices it, Scarlet will probably do far worse than the Xbox One X did. But getting back to the PS5, I think the PS5 will probably cost $500. And I'm going to go out on a limb. No, I'm not going to go out on a limb. I'm going to be honest. I think the PS5 is going to cost $500. And I think PSVR 2 is going to cost $400. But I am hopeful that it will cost $300. But it doesn't matter. I will have both of them day one. Even if they both release day and date side by side. Fatal Sherrod has said you can get the Xbox One X for less than $400 now. It should have launched at $400 to begin with, Fatal. I think the Xbox One X Fatal Charade was one of the biggest ripoffs in video game history. You had graphics that was microscopically better than the PS4 Pro, with suspect performance, with frame drops, screen tearing, and not to mention all the problems that was happening when it first launched. The black screens and shit that was happening to it that was the equivalent of the red ring of death. You said a dude at Best Buy told me he'd price match one down for me to around $390. But shit, the shit was already costing $400 to begin with. Now, I posted a picture on Twitter a few months ago. I went to Best Buy and they had the Xbox One X Fallout Edition for $400, but yet the Xbox One X standard with no games was still $500. That made absolutely no sense. And I posted that on Twitter. So with that being said, in a sense, the Xbox One X has been $400 for a while. But back to the PS5 and PSVR 2. Worst case scenario, $500 for the console, $500 for the VR headset, $1,000. I'm prepared to pay it. I mean, hell, I dropped $2,000 on this Alienware computer. After a couple of sales adjustments, I ended up paying $1,600 for it. It was a $2,000 computer, and I bought it on sale for $1,800. Right after I bought it on sale for $1,800, it popped up again like 2 weeks later for $1,600, and I went back to Best Buy and they credited me the extra $200. So I ended up getting my Alienware computer for $1,600. Uncompetitive, what is up? EJ Johnson, what is up? You said Xbox One is dead like Atari and Sega. Also, the $20 to $60 of dollars of games. So, getting back, something. I did mean to say something though about the about the rumored price. Garuda Legends, what's up? Don't suplex me on top of a volcano, man, because I know you're a pretty big dude too, man. Don't slam dunk me and drop me on my neck, man. I did mean to say something about that $250 rumor of the PlayStation VR headset, PlayStation VR 2. Now, if that turns out to be true, that the headset turns out to be $250, um, that would create a landslide in terms of the balance, because I really want to believe this rumor to be true, that Microsoft is going to partner up with Oculus to bring the Oculus Rift to Scarlet. But you'd probably be looking at about $900 there, because I'm guessing that Scarlet's probably going to cost $500. Is probably going to cost $500. We know that the Oculus Rift S costs $400, and they don't drop their prices all that fast either. So the Oculus Rift S is probably going to remain $400 for a while, especially when they keep coming out with these updates, to improve the performance of the headset. We just had that miraculous update that improves tracking dramatically, and they're supposed to be coming out with another update that eliminates the snow glitch. The old TVs back in the days when you turned to a channel that didn't have a frequency, you would have all that snow. That happens every now and then with the Oculus Rift S. You'll get a quick flash, where the screen will turn into snow, and then it'll go back to whatever it was you planned. There's supposed to be an update coming up to eliminate that. So as they keep making updates to improve the headset, I don't see Oculus lowering the price of that Oculus Rift anytime soon. And I actually think they're not selling all that bad, because I'll check the Best Buy websites. They'll be sold out, a couple weeks later, they'll get a couple in, they'll sell out and so forth. So with that being said, you're looking at about $500 for Xbox Scarlet and $400 for the Oculus Rift S. That's $900. Now, if you have the PS5 coming in at $500 and the PSVR 2 coming in at $250, that's $750. You'd be saving $150. And not only that, PlayStation VR is going to have some compelling exclusives. I think with Oculus Rift S, if it were to come to Scarlet, I think it would be absolutely pointless for them to put that headset on the Xbox platform if they don't bring their exclusives over there, because Oculus, basically, they're the only ones that have exclusives, in my opinion, that's on par with the PlayStation VR, that can compete with them. They definitely have the best looking exclusive as far as I'm concerned with Lone Echo. I still think that holds up as the best looking VR game I've ever seen. And Oculus has a number of exclusives. In Asgard's Wrath and Lone Echo 2 are two Oculus exclusives that I'm looking forward to, as well as Phantom Covert Ops. That's like basically Splinter Cell from a kayak. And then the rumor about Splinter Cell being an Oculus exclusive, if they did that and brought Splinter Cell to Xbox Scarlet, that would be huge. If Microsoft partners up with Oculus and they were to bring that Splinter Cell to Xbox Scarlet, that would be huge. I think bringing Assassin's Creed VR, if that rumor turns out to be true, if they did that, that would be huge. And I think that would be the only thing that would give the Xbox side a fighting chance in terms of competing against PlayStation VR 2, especially if it's at $250. that would cause a landslide because there would be, honestly, there wouldn't be any reason to buy an Oculus Rift S for the Xbox unless those Oculus exclusives are going to be there. Exclusives do matter big time. Uncompetitive. I think PS5, PSVR 2 bundle will be around $1,000 with controllers. I think you would be right. I hope you are wrong, but I think you are right. I think honestly, I think it's going to be $900 combined. I think the console is going to be $500, and I think the VR headset is going to be $400. But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be $1,000 for the both of them. Thomas Hand, I don't want Facebook and Oculus watching my every move, Lincoln. Hey, shit. I don't even like. Every time I feel paranoid, I just throw a face cloth over my PlayStation camera. And then as far as my PC goes, I don't turn my PC on unless I plan on playing something because I don't want the shit sitting for hours running hot. You want to stream when I'm done? He can't hear me with the headset on. My son is playing Pavlov right now, and he's wearing headsets and cannot hear me. He did play the Battle Wake beta, and he liked it. I watched him play the multiplayer. It was 4 versus 4, and it looked pretty fun. The only thing that Battle Wake I wish it had was the ability to board enemies' ship and engage in hand-to-hand combat. A little bit like the Sea of Thieves. That would be cool if they did do that. But it still looks like a fun game. I would be willing to pay up to $20 for it. I think, based on what I'm seeing, I think $15 is a sweet spot on Battle Wake. But I absolutely will not pay $40 for it. But I think Servios knows the deal because what did they charge? I think they're probably gonna. Man, I think they might end up trying to price it at $30. Creed was $30. Raw Data was $40, which I definitely did not think that was worth it because the trailer misled you into believing that the game had full locomotion when it's basically a wave shooter, and that didn't go over well with me. But fortunately, I caught the game while it was on sale. I think I ended up getting the game for like $17 or something. And the multiplayer on there was virtually non-existent. It was a ghost town on there. But I think Servios probably knows better than to price this game more than $30. But again, based on what I've seen, I think $15 is a sweet spot. But I went off the tracks a little bit. But in any case, I think that if Sony prices a PlayStation VR at $400, and then you have the Oculus Rift S over on the Xbox side costing $400, the Xbox side might have a fighting chance. Again, but it all depends on if Oculus brings their exclusives over to the Xbox platform, which I think it would be pointless for them to even come over there if they're not going to bring their exclusives with them. But what do you get ready to do now? On the PC? Okay. Well, this time turn the resolution up to 4K. Let's see what it looks like.
All right.
Well, I don't have too much more. Thomas saying, do you think the Rift S is a big jump on PSVR? In terms of upgrades, Refresh rate? No. Because of the 80 hertz refresh rate, the Oculus Rift S will not do over 80 frames per second. I've already tested it. When I had the Oculus Rift CV1 and I was playing Zero Caliber, over in the corner when you're at the main menu, over in the corner you have what the frame rate is, and it would get up to 90 frames a second because of the 90 hertz refresh rate. But it kind of hovered around, like 87 for an average.
When I play Zero Caliber, I see the frame drops, making it hard to play.
Well, now that I have the Rift S connected to it, I plugged it up again, and it wouldn't do over 80 frames. It was like it maxed out at 80 frames, but on average, it was doing like 77, that kind of stuff. So, to answer that question, Thomas Hand, refresh rate wise, no, the Oculus Rift S is not an upgrade over the PlayStation VR. Resolution, yes. I think the PlayStation VR has a resolution of 1080, and the Oculus Rift S has a resolution of 1440. So it is definitely a jump there. Even with these redesigned Rift Touch controllers, they are still better than the PlayStation Move controllers. So advantage Oculus there. And depending on how powerful your PC is, the majority of the games are going to look better on the Oculus Rift S. So picture looks sharp.
Oh, it looks the same, I guess.
1 second, folks. Let me come and look at it. Yeah, I guess it's just as sharp as the home.
All right, for benchmark it.
Probably going to get about a max of 40 frames per second.
Drop that low, then I'm changing it back to 1440. With Gears 4, it doesn't drop that far.
There it is right there. What are you seeing?
Frame dropping down to what you said.
Yeah, told you.
I can do this with Gears 4. Oh, this is kind of the same as Gears 4.
I don't know. I don't have an answer. Okay. All right, I'm back, folks. My son's getting ready to play the Gears 5 beta again. He wanted to do a benchmark at 4K. When he did the stream earlier, he was playing at 1440p at 60 frames per second, but we benchmarked it at 4K, and we're getting 40 frames per second. There isn't any more up there?
Not these ones. Not these.
Okay, folks, sorry about that. Thomas Hand, PSVR 2 could or should lead the way. That's a tough one right there. As far as headsets that's going to be tethered to a console, yes, I expect them to maintain their dominance there. But as far as the overall VR landscape, that's going to be a tough one because of the Oculus Quest. This thing continues to sell out. It continues to be a hard headset to get hold of, and I think if Oculus allows more retailers to carry the Oculus Quest and they can keep up with demand, they very well could dominate the next generation because they're already off to a hot start. Um, but I think as of right now, I think the only retailers where you can get the Oculus Quest at is Walmart and Best Buy. But I think they need to put it in as many retailers as they can, because you can go just about anywhere. Just about anywhere that sells video games, you can get a PlayStation VR there. You know, you can get a PlayStation VR at Walmart, Target, Best Buy. You know, we have Myers Super Centers here. You can get them there. Um, you know, probably just about any, you know, mom and pop's video game store, uh, GameStop, those kind of places. Um, but I think with the Oculus Quest, I did mention Best Buy, Walmart, and yes, GameStop. You have to order it through them, but yes, you can get them, because I don't think they're going to carry them on the shelves. You have to order it if you want it. But I think they need the Oculus. I think they need to add, you know, Target to the mix. Myers, they need to add them. Costco, Sam's Clubs, all those places. Because they, after all, they're not. I don't think the Oculus Quest is trying to appeal to the hardcore. I think it's trying to appeal to the casual VR gamers too. So that's a tough one, because I'm wondering if Oculus can finally, you know, if they can give supplies that will keep up with demand. I'm wondering how long would it take Oculus to reach 4.2 million headsets sold of the Quest. So PSVR 2 could or should lead the way. That all depends on how you look at it. So out of all those rumors that I talked about, most of them I believe to be true, except that price. $250 is, I think Sony would be taking too hard of a hit selling those things at $250. But if they did do it, I would be ecstatic. But I think that's all I got. It's 11 o'clock. I think I still want to get a game stream in one more time before I call it a night. And I'm trying to decide. You know, I think I don't know if my son's not too tired. I'm thinking about us streaming Space Junkies for about 45 minutes. Support gaming. I would guess that the PSVR 2 exclusive games would be the biggest selling point. Then the hardware specs. Exactly. With that being said, if the Oculus Rift S appears on the Xbox platform, to have those Oculus exclusives over there would be the only thing that would give it a fighting chance against the PlayStation VR. Because Oculus does have some great exclusives. They got a good number of exclusives too. And I think out of the Oculus exclusives, I like Lone Echo, campaign and multiplayer. I like Dead and Buried, the first one. I haven't played the second one yet. I like, even though I've only played it for a couple of seconds, Vader Immortal looks pretty good, even though it's supposed to be a really short experience. Defector, I've heard mixed things about Defector. A lot of the negatives that I heard about Defector say that the latter part of the game looks rushed, but they said like the first 3 missions are, you know, is great. But the couple of minutes of Defector that I played, it looks interesting. I'm looking forward to Asgard's Wrath and Lone Echo 2. So in terms of VR exclusives, Oculus is the only ones that can compete with Sony. Sony can put an experience together. I can't see any other company being able to do that. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of VR exclusives goes, Oculus they're the only ones that can compete with PlayStation. You know, they don't got a shit ton of exclusives out there just to put them out there. They've got some good exclusives. So I think before I go real quick, I think I'm going to go to a couple of VR headset, VR websites, Upload VR and Road to VR. And Royal Flush, what is up? What is up, my man? I'm going to check out a couple of VR websites real quick just to see if there's any headlines we're talking about before I get up on out of here. Let me check Upload VR first. Wow. Facebook's researchers made a wrist-worn prototype for haptic feedback and freehand movement. What the fuck? If this turns out to be true, this might be the possible. This looks like the possible shit that Sony had a patent for. Let me show my let me share my screen with you guys real quick. You said you came from a fire barbecue cookout, Royal. That's what's up. Let me share my screen real quick with you guys, real quick. Okay. Right there. Look at that device right there. I thought it was some kind of wristwatch or something, but you see the title. It says Facebook researchers made a wrist-worn prototype for haptic feedback and freehand movement. Now, these haptic devices, they already have the haptic vest out there, where you wear a vest, and if you play first-person shooters, so for instance, if you get shot in the back, then the haptic vest will vibrate in the back. If you get shot in the abdomen, it will vibrate in the abdomen, and so forth. So it'll vibrate where you get shot at. There are other haptic devices out there, but this wrist right here, if this is something that could eventually replace the Rift Touch controllers, that would be groundbreaking. But at the same time, this looks similar to the device that Sony filed a patent for. Wow, Oculus clarifies VR app return policy, allowing 5 refunds over 30 days. Oculus had been pretty stingy in the past about their return policy. Oh, look at this right here. Opinion: PlayStation VR 2 will be great, but don't be fooled, it won't be cheap. Look, let's see here. Tarzan swings into VR later this year in an episodic adventure. See here. Vertigo 2's Valve-inspired antics might make it a great VR shooter, which I did download the demo for that, but I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. So let's read up a little bit on this Facebook thing real quick before we get out of here. Close this crap here. The device was created by a team of 6 Facebook Reality Lab researchers, along with an interning PhD student from Rice University. Task B is worn on each wrist. It uses a combination of vibrations and squeezing to mimic haptic feedback for virtual objects. This thing squeezes? So this thing squeezes your wrist, dynamic tension adjustment. Wow, that's interesting. Each tactor in the band includes an individual linear actuator, so vibrators can be precisely controlled. In software, visual tricks can suggest the press of a button by showing a finger ceasing movement once it collides with the object. The researchers found the visual tricks only impacted perceived realism in a minor way. The wrist-based haptic device provides most of the sensation, even though it doesn't touch any fingers. It says, unlike previous attempts at this technique, Each tactor, the tap speed, uses a smooth pin such that is decoupled from the band, while researchers claim it produces pure, uniform, normal forces while maintaining tactor radio positions. The device does not perform finger tracking in itself. This could potentially be done by computer vision software analyzing the imagery from the headset mounted cameras. Another interesting possibility is that the device could use probing electrical signals to detect the position of your fingers, a technique Facebook explored through a file patent on earlier this year. Look at this right here. So yes, it is possible that this thing could replace controllers altogether on the Oculus platform. Right there says users interface, where it looks like it's mimic you pushing a button. The second picture mimics you stacking cubes. The third picture mimics you shaking hands. Oh, that's social interactions. So that'll actually probably be neat when you have something like the rec room, to use as an example, in gaming and tracking. Right there, where this picture, this person is using the bow and arrow. That is interesting. Very interesting. So let's check out Road to VR and see what they got. Indie VR Gym Racket NX launches on Quest with cross-platform multiplayer. I've seen a few people play this game. It's like racquetball, almost inside of a dome. And this game right here, the Oculus Quest, obviously is where this game is going to shine, because this dome is like 360 degrees. It's not 180. The ball can go in any direction, so it's going to require you to be able to turn around 360 degrees to be able to send the ball back at your opponent. So a cord would only inevitably cause you to trip. Oh, wow. Let me see here. Echo VR update brings undersea lobby, skirmish zone, and new customizations. So, that'll be cool. We most of us that follow VR already know about the Blood and Truth demo. I've already played that, but hey, you know what? Porter Rock, if you happen to be listening, make sure you check out that Blood and Truth free demo. And then let's see here. Gorn. It's a cartoonish type game, but I guess it's like really, some comedic violence, but kind of bloody. It is out of early access. And right there, the Battleship beta, the Battle Wake, which my son was playing a little while ago. Excuse me, I Expect You to Die gets brand new level on all supported platforms. I've not played that game before. 5 great ways to celebrate the moon landing's 50th anniversary in VR. I will have to look in that. Tetris Effect coming to PS. It's coming to PC with VR support next week. What they're not telling you is that it is, as far as PC VR goes, it is supposed to be exclusive to the Epic Store, which I don't know if that's going to rub people the wrong way or not, because I don't know how VR people feel about the Epic Store. So I already have it on the PlayStation VR, so this does not apply to me. Exclusive 35 minutes of Until You Fall groundbreaking melee combat gameplay. I will have to check that out. Let's see here. Rumor: Apple reportedly suspends work on consumer AR headset, which I had heard was supposed to be an 8K headset, which was probably going to cost an arm and a leg, because as it stands, the Pimax 8K headset, I think that costs about $2,000. Let's see here. Big screen, which I knew about that. Big screen brings 50 plus free streaming TV channels, the social VR viewing platform, which is cool. Let's see here. Defector review. Action movie thrills wrapped in a standard arcade shooter. I'll be the judge of that once I finish it. 15 minutes of Lone Echo 2 gameplay. I've seen a little bit of that. Wow, they got a lot of shit though. But a lot of this stuff's old. You see, July 3rd, July 2019. So that's it for the sharing. So Andrew Wilkins, what is up? Competitive. Thomas Hand, y'all said titty physics. Uncompetitive. Thomas Hand, haptic feedback for breast fondling. I think I said what's up to you, Andrew Wilkins. I did. JD Max, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey, what's going on, Andrew Wilkins? That's funny. Oh, Royal Flush, you said that'll be real sick for a VR fighting game. I think there are a couple of VR fighting games out there right now, Flush, but they don't work in the way that you think they would. I can't remember what it's called, but there is a VR fighting game out there right now. You can't just swing your hands everywhere. You have to perform a particular move exactly the way the image shows in order for that to work. So I think I don't know. I wouldn't want a fighting game anyway where people are just swinging their hands all wild and shit like that. I would like to see like games like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, particular moves. You have to execute them with certain button patterns. I would like to see something like that in VR, like what I just described, where if there was a particular move you wanted to do, you had to execute that move in a certain manner in VR and just not swing your hands anywhere. So you said I'm a lover, not a fighter. All right. Damn, there it is. We finally hit the hour mark. So I think I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. I don't think there's anything else out there. I can take a quick look at N4G. Sony needs more than good games and power for PlayStation 5 to stay. What the fuck? Let me read this title again. It says Sony needs more than good games and power for PlayStation 5 to stay on top. But they got the Xbox logo right next to it. Are you fucking kidding me? Are they really implying that the Xbox Scarlet could be a legitimate threat to the PS5? It's the content that makes this shit no contest. Says here, let me see here. Days Gone is now the 7th best-selling game of 2019 in the United States. So shout out to them. See here. Microsoft is well positioned in what is going to be a much larger gaming market. Yeah, all right. Another one says 5 reasons why the next generation will suck. Yeah. Whatever. Not enough. Not enough to interest me. Yeah, Flush needs more than good games and power. What? Sony is a Ferrari, and the Xbox brand is a dump truck. And you saying that Ferrari needs more power to ensure that it's going to beat the dump truck? Are you fucking kidding me? How stupid are some of these goddamn writers? Unbelievable. To me, I've insulted you guys even reading that goddamn headline. I've insulted you guys, and I slapped you all across the face with that shit. I apologize. But damn, it's 11:15. I think I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I am going to plan on being at the PlayStation Legion tomorrow. I didn't make it last week because I was just simply too tired, and I slept most of Sunday away. But I'm planning on being at the PlayStation Legion tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out. JTech usually goes on at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Support gaming. You can't beat $1 gaming. Xbox Logic. Facts. Facts. And you said that in a joking manner, but that's facts. Okay, Flush. Hey, be easy, man. I'll be looking for your podcast tomorrow. I'm always watching your podcast on Sundays. And if I don't catch it on Sunday, I always listen to the replay the next day at work. So still there supporting you, fam. Keep up the good work. All right, folks, I'm going to boogie on out of here. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, I'll try to get some kind of stream in tonight. It's late here on the East Coast. It's 11:15. But whatever I should end up streaming, if you don't catch it live, make sure you check out the replay. We'll catch you later, Uncompetitive. And I'll see the rest of you guys later. Y'all have a good night. I'm out.